How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over why I didn't take any trades. We'll look at both ES and NQ charts, and I'll talk about how nothing really fit into my system today, so no trades for me. It'll be a quick video just kind of watching what price did today and why I didn't see an entry. So I'm actually going to turn on these levels. So we'll take a look at NQ first. NQ really didn't have any setups. ES had one that I could have taken and I didn't, and it would have played out pretty nice, but we'll go over NQ first as it really didn't present anything. So coming into the day, we had price within the previous day, aka Friday's range. We had our pretty wide pre-market range. We had a little bit of like a triple top here at these all-time highs. We sold off, and then as the market opened, we ripped really high. We ripped and set new all-time highs right off the open and just made a massive vertical climb to the upside. So at this point, there's nothing really for me to look for, right? Because we do get here and we break above and retest and continue, but we didn't get a close on the 5 minute yet. So had we gotten that close on the 5 minute, then the retest, that would have been a different story. But we didn't get that, and we just kind of ripped straight up. And then once we got to about 950 or so, we started doing this weird thing where we were setting new highs. But price action on the lower time frame was looking kind of weak, and price action on the 5 minute as well slowed down pretty significantly, where we were climbing higher, but it wasn't really looking super great for continuation. Likewise, we didn't really have any pullbacks to EMAs or any structure being at all-time highs to rely on or look at for potential levels of support or places to pull back to. So I was really just relying off the EMAs at this point. And while we did come and touch these EMAs and kind of grind our way higher, I did not take any of these trades because, like I said, you can see we start to see some weakness in the lower time frame where we have multiple tests of around like this 400 level, can't break through. Then we do, then we pull back, and then we fill to a new high, and now we're kind of dropping lower. So price momentum definitely slowed down quite a bit up in here. And with such a volatile move to the upside, what I would have liked to see was a bigger pullback, form some structure, and then start heading back up. But what we're getting here is just kind of no real lows or highs, just kind of moving sideways at the point and not really covering much distance. You know, price moving in like 20-point range the last half an hour. So there's nothing really for me to trade that. That's in Q. I would kind of still expect it to have a bigger pullback since we did break below this EMA. We kind of held that 48, but I wouldn't be surprised to see us pull back a little further. And I think it's healthy with how fast of a move to the upside and new all-time highs that it's set. Let's take a look at ES, and I'll go over the one trade that potentially could have been. So, ES, similar thing, right? Right out of the gate, blasted off, new all-time highs. We did get a pullback, and we got a pullback to the EMA. Now, I didn't take this because I felt that NQ was going to pull back further, and I thought that might drag ES down with it. Because ES had a little bit of a clearer like low than NQ did. NQ didn't really set a low here, whereas ES formed that high, pulled back, and formed a low, a little swing low here before making new highs. So taking longs off this EMA, risking below, and then targeting high a day, and then potential continuation for a runner, that would have worked out really well. That's a very basic play, right? We're in an uptrend, we pull back to the EMA, we enter, we risk off that. And then we take profits at the most recent swing high and then leave runners for potential additional gains. But I did not take this, and like I said, it was because I was watching NQ kind of just stumble around up here, and I felt that NQ was going to have a larger pullback, and I felt that if NQ started to have a larger pullback, there's a chance that ES might as well. Overall, I just felt that with such a quick move to the upside with no pullbacks that we were due for a larger pullback. I've said that word a lot, which we never really got. But we did pull back and test and hold this EMA and then make new highs. So that is kind of a textbook play in an uptrending market for my strategy. But like I said, I kind of sat on my hands and just watched it play out in front of me. That's really the only trade I would have or should have maybe taken today. And I'm not mad that I didn't take it, right? If I take a gamble on a day like today, it's a Monday, it's new all-time highs. You know, if I sit on my hands and miss a trade, the only downside is, you know, I missed out on potential profit. But if I take a setup that I don't necessarily love on a day like today, The downside is whatever my risk is for a loss. You know, I could take a loss and it would be unnecessary or potentially maybe not the best setup, causing me to, you know, take risk when maybe I shouldn't be. So it's out of my hands today. We're continuing this, right? We're on the PAs now, and we're positive on all three of them. These two up about 230. This one's up about 50 because I was down a little bit when I started. But what I'm trying to say is I'm taking this slow and patient, right? I don't want to force trades. I want to take the trades that are according to my system, that are right there in my face telling me to take them. That way, at least if they don't work, that I'm not mad for getting myself into that scenario. You know, if I take a stupid trade and then I take a loss on it, it kind of upsets me because I realize I shouldn't have been in that trade in the first place. And now I need to wait for a high quality trade to take to hopefully offset the, you know, the impatience or the bad trade that I took earlier. So we are definitely trying to be disciplined and take our time, not rush this process, and just make our climb slow and steady as we did with the evals. We paid the lifetime fees on these, so I have no rush whatsoever. I don't care if it takes me 2 months to get payout. I just want to get that payout because the one payout off these 3 accounts will cover all my expenses in terms of trading. All the money that I put into prop firms, all of it will be covered and more if I just get one payout from these accounts. So I would like to hold on to these accounts. I would like to use money from these accounts to build more accounts. You know, if I could get to 5, 10, 20 accounts, that's the dream, right? And getting payouts from that amount of Apex accounts would be pretty significant. But the biggest thing really is that I've put the money down, I've paid the fee, there's no time limit. It's just preservation and getting to the end goal. And I think I'll do that through being patient and waiting for the right setups and not gambling on days where I'm not feeling certain. So, a little ramble. This video is probably longer than it needed to be. But no trades today. That was really the only setup. You could have waited for that first 5-minute close, that first hold of the EMAs, entered long, risk below that low, take profit at high a day, leave a runner, and it would have played out pretty nice. You know, we're not really climbing anymore, kind of consolidating this little wedge, but you would have at least got that first trim and then been set up for, you know, another 3 points or so beyond that, which isn't terrible. So that's all I got. I appreciate you watching. I'll be here the rest of the week's streaming in the mornings and then posting recaps whether or not I take a trade. I'll still kind of go over the price action on both ES and NQ and what I was watching and what I saw. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching. I'll be here the rest of the week. If you want to stop by the stream, please do. I'd love to have you. Hope you have a great day. Peace.